Now, live, this is NBC5, your source for live, local, late-breaking news.
We're still hoping that our son is out there alive. You know, that's our hope. But, you know, if not, I mean, any family want closure. I mean, we just can't let it go unsolved like this.
The family of Baylor basketball player Patrick Dennehy speaks out, hoping for some answers in his disappearance. Welcome to NBC5 First at 4. I'm Carol Wang in for Elsa Ramon.
And I'm Todd Wallace. It's been nearly a month now after the disappearance of Patrick Dennehy. Now the family is speaking at length to the media about the missing Baylor basketball player and the man arrested in this case. NBC5's Susan Risden talked with Dennehy's family and is live in Waco with more. Susan?
Todd, Patrick Dennehy's parents and girlfriend want closure and justice, but they still have a glimmer of hope that the 6'10" Baylor basketball player will show up unharmed. The family and close friends of Patrick Dennehy came to Waco for some answers.
We're still hoping that our son is out there alive. You know, that's our hope. But, you know, if not, I mean, any family want closure. I mean, we just can't let it go unsolved like this.
The missing Baylor basketball player's loved ones also came to town to pack up Dennehy's belongings.
It was really rough because Patrick and I mean, we're goofballs. We had a bunch of like matching shirts and shoes and stuff. So it was really hard to go through those things.
Even though Dennehy's former teammate and friend Carlton Dotson is charged with murder, the Brabazons are still hoping for a happy ending.
We don't know where Patrick is, and you know, until we find him, we're his family. You know, he's a part of us. He's a big part of each of our lives, and we got to hold that out for ourselves.
We are going to tour the campus hopefully today. We have a lot to pack in a short amount of time, and we do want to see where Patrick's going to play, and we do want to see the campus that has become his stomping grounds.
If the 21-year-old was murdered, his mother thinks more than one person is to blame.
Like I said, if there is harm done to my son, I think there is other people involved.
Dennehy's family will load up a U-Haul with Patrick's things this evening. They plan to drive home to Reno, Nevada tomorrow. Meanwhile, ATF investigators say that a 9mm handgun found near the Baylor campus comes from a gun shop in South Texas. Live in Waco, Susan Risden, NBC5.
All right, Susan, thanks very much for that live report. Meanwhile, this afternoon, Patrick Dennehy's roommate, Carlton Dotson, remains jailed in Maryland on a murder charge. He's fighting extradition to Texas. The FBI says Dotson told agents he shot Dennehy in the head because he feared Dennehy was about to shoot him.
This afternoon, one man is dead and an investigation underway after an officer-involved shooting in Dallas. NBC5's Ken Kaltoff is live on this developing story. Ken, what do you know?
A lot of anger at this scene today in southeast Dallas on South Loop 12, just east of 175. Neighbors and friends saying that police shot this man with no reason. Police say that it involves undercover officers, and so to protect their identity, they're very touchy about what we show you. But we can say indeed that police say the victim was pulling up in his white pickup truck in front of his business, Designers Hip Hop Clothing, one of 3 stores that this man owns. An undercover police narcotics vehicle pulled up right behind the man, and police say the man jumped out shooting. Witnesses say that the officers fired first and never identified themselves. Friends say that this 30-year-old victim should not have been considered a suspect for any crime. Police have not yet released this man's name, and so we are not releasing his name yet either. But we are out here on the scene following this situation, and we'll be back with the latest for you at 5 and 6. For now, reporting live, Ken Kaltoff, NBC5, Dallas.
Thank you, Ken. A gruesome discovery at a North Texas lake today. A fisherman found a man's body at Lake Tawakoni in Hunt County late this morning and called police, who pulled the body ashore. The medical examiner says it is the body of a white man, 40 to 50 years old. The Parks and Wildlife Department says the body had a chain on it. No word yet on how the man died.
Today, the Bush administration released graphic photos of the bodies of Saddam Hussein's sons. Now, NBC5 has decided not to show these pictures in our newscast. If you would like to view them, you can go to our website at NBC5i.com. As NBC5's Steve Handelsman reports, the photos may help prove to Iraqis that Uday and Qusay Hussein really did die this week in a firefight with U.S. troops.
The grisly photos of Saddam's dead sons, which we've decided not to air, remain in Baghdad just after their battle with U.S. troops in Mosul, North Iraq. Uday had disguised his appearance, and so had Kuze, both growing full beards in their 3 months on the run. Minutes after the photo's release, President Bush gave the rationale.
And now more than ever, the Iraqis can know that the former regime is gone and is not coming back.
The photos flashed on Iraqi TV to reassure citizens still fearful that Hussein and Sons might return to power. Defense Secretary Rumsfeld defended what he admitted was the unusual decision to release images of the dead.
It's important for the Iraqi people to see them, to know they're gone, to know they're dead, and to know they're not coming back. And I think that will save American lives and save coalition lives and be a great benefit to the Iraqi people.
But 3 U.S. soldiers from the 101st Airborne that killed Saddam's sons were themselves killed in Mosul. U.S. commanders warned of more revenge attacks in the short term. Now the danger comes from Iraqis who dream of a Hussein return, a danger the Bush team hopes to diminish with the photos. So no one can charge that today's pictures were faked. The U.S. military plans to let news organizations take their own pictures of Saddam's sons' bodies, perhaps as soon as tomorrow. At the White House, I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC 5.
And also today, Deputy Defense Secretary Paul Wolfowitz says the U.S. underestimated the strength of the resistance after the fall of Saddam Hussein. He also says some Iraqis are expecting too much of the U.S. in the aftermath of the war.
For the second time in a month, an 18-wheeler plunged off a bridge on Highway 80 in Kaufman County. This morning's accident was on the eastbound lanes of Highway 80 in Forney. The driver says he swerved to miss something on the road. He knocked out 260 feet of guardrail, then plunged 20 feet off a bridge into a ravine. He suffered back injuries and was taken by CareFlight to a Dallas hospital. And it is time now to get a first check on your forecast from Chief Meteorologist David Finfrock in the Weather Center. And David, it really started heating up this afternoon.
Yeah, you notice it again this afternoon, Carol, and it'll get hotter as we go on through the weekend. At this point, the front has worked on down into South Texas, where it is still triggering some thunderstorms in the greater Houston area, but these are not getting any closer to us. In our portion of the state, the radar remains clear, and it will likely stay that way through the weekend. Take a look at the map, and you'll see the front again sprawled across the central portion of the state. Temperatures a bit cooler as you go back behind it, especially into East Texas, Mount Pleasant, Tyler, Jacksonville, 88 degrees. Jacksonville, by the way, our newest reporting station. We're happy to add that one to the list. But on the other side of the front, temperatures are a little bit warmer. More importantly, the humidity is much higher, and that will start showing up here in North Texas again as we go through the weekend. So we will be looking for hotter, more humid conditions to return, but it sure was nice this morning. Parts of the area actually dipped into the 60s at daybreak. We got one more pretty nice night tonight, and I'll have more details on your weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, David, thanks so very much. Look forward to seeing you a little later. Well, you may need to dig a little deeper to cool off or heat your home. The newest request to raise electric rates is coming up.
Changes are coming to the midpoint of Dallas-Fort Worth. It's all to welcome the Super Bowl of horse racing.
Plus, a new era of security starts in New York after a shooting at City Hall.
And already starting to see those delays as you make your way through North Dallas along LBJ and 75 Central. We'll talk about it coming up in Gridlock Busters. And good afternoon to you, Dallas-Fort Worth. If you're going to be making your way through North Dallas, already seeing some gridlock today as you travel east and westbound 635 LBJ. This is your vantage point from Josie, and then as you travel down towards the Harry Hines area, also very heavy. And I'm getting reports of at least a 25-minute delay right here as you head up towards Collin County, northbound along 75 Central, approaching the High 5 area. Carol, back to you.
Thanks, Tammy. Well, one day after a deadly shooting inside New York City Hall, the mayor is back in his office. Mayor Michael Bloomberg walked through the metal detectors today, perhaps for the first time ever. Traditionally, the mayor and council members bypass security. That's how alleged shooter Othniel Askew got inside City Hall with a gun. Askew walked in with Councilman James Davis, who he later shot and killed.
A very bizarre story out of San Angelo to tell you about today. An inmate in the county jail says she went into labor, but that the jail's doctor just gave her painkillers and told her to relax. The woman ended up giving birth to the baby girl in a stainless steel toilet. The sheriff says the incident is under investigation. The woman was in jail on warrants for hot checks and unpaid traffic tickets.
Well, we certainly hope you enjoyed the cooler temperatures while they lasted.
If you missed those triple digits, well, we could soon be right back with those. Chief Meteorologist David Finfrock's forecast is coming right up.
Cows are found dead in 4 North Texas counties, shot to death. I'll have a live report coming up.
And now a look at the latest headlines from NBC5 right now. Your check will soon be in the mail. Tomorrow, the first of 25 million government checks will be mailed out. It's part of President Bush's new tax cut package, which boosts the child tax credit. California Governor Gray Davis will face a recall election on October 7th. Actor and Republican Arnold Schwarzenegger may run for the job. And the community college in El Paso is firing 65 teachers. An internal audit revealed they did not have the required qualifications to teach. We're watching headlines every 15 minutes right here on NBC5, first at 4.
The killing of some cattle in North Texas is taking an expensive and emotional toll on some local ranchers. The shootings are happening in Tarrant, Johnson, Hood, and Parker counties. NBC5's Brendan Higgins is live and local to explain. Brendan?
Yeah, someone drove around that 4-county area that you just mentioned, picking off cows with a high-caliber rifle using these hollow point bullets that are referred to as cop killers. In all, 11 cows were killed, valued at around $9,000. The Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association in Fort Worth is investigating, along with Fort Worth Police and the Sheriff's Departments of Hood, Parker, and Johnson counties. The cattle, some as young as 5 months old, were killed in fenced pastures next to roads.
It's sad for these cattle, but what's even scarier is to think that someone is out there, killing for no reason whatsoever, and it's only going to be a matter of time before they get bored with shooting cattle, and what are they going to do next?
And we've just been told that a $2,500 reward has been offered in this case, information that leads to the arrest of a suspect. And if you have any information, you can call the sheriff's departments in any one of those counties that we just told you about. Again, that's Tarrant, Hood, Johnson, and Parker County. Give them the information. They definitely need it at this point, as we don't think that they have any leads. Reporting live, I'm Brendan Higgins, NBC5 in Fort Worth.
Fast, accurate, reliable. Weather with Chief Meteorologist David Finfrock.
Just a typical sunny summer afternoon here in North Texas. You scan the skyline from downtown Fort Worth and hardly a cloud to be found. It is bright and sunny out there, and the temperature warming up as a result. More impressive. Todd, Carol?
Oh my gosh, it's so nice to just see 70s in the bottoms for the lows at night.
I was actually sharing with Carol a moment ago that though it was 94 degrees, I could kind of feel the difference, believe it or not, and not the 100 degrees.
Makes all the difference.
Sure does.
Well, getting bilingual information out to everyone in Dallas that needs it, not an easy task. A look inside the process is coming up.
Plus, parts of North Texas are about to become more horse-friendly. We'll show you how coming up. This summer, the Dallas Symphony Orchestra has been on the road, first in Europe and then more recently in Vail, Colorado.
And tough assignment. New at 4, NBC5's Bobby Wygant caught up with the Dallas Symphony in Vail for music and a breath of fresh mountain air.
The hills of Colorado are alive with the sound of music. Music by the Dallas Symphony Orchestra. For the 5th year in a row, the DSO has presented concerts at Bravo Vail Valley Music Festival.
Richard, what is this Vail experience like for you and the Dallas Symphony Orchestra?
It's fantastic. I mean, music is wonderful anyway, but to be able to play in such a beautiful place is really very special. I love coming up here. They have a great sound system here, so even the people on the lawn hear the orchestra as it should be. In the Meyerson, we don't hear birds chirping, so that's a difference.
The Pops concert, conducted by Richard Kaufman, featured Broadway stars Mark Jacoby and Judy Kay. With the Dallas Symphony, they performed a premiere of 30-some songs from Broadway musicals, a program produced by Matthew Inge. The orchestra also presented classical music concerts in Vail, conducted by Andrew Litton, music director of the Dallas Symphony Orchestra. All concerts at the Bravo Vail Valley Music Festival are held at the Gerald R. Ford Amphitheater. President and Mrs. Ford attended this Dallas Symphony concert the night before Gerald Ford's 90th birthday. The Fords have a home in Vail.
Here we are at 8,000 feet. Does that impact any of the musical instruments?
I think it probably impacts them a little bit, but more so the players, because at this altitude, if you're a brass player or a woodwind player, you're really tested. There's not as much oxygen here as there is in the Meyerson. And so it takes a little getting used to, easier for some, a little more difficult for others.
The Dallas Symphony Orchestra is scheduled to return to Vail in 2004. The music, the mountains, the picture-perfect scenery make a memorable experience. Bobby Wygant in Vail, Colorado with the Dallas Symphony for NBC5.
Wow, she gets to go to all the cool places, and I mean cool.
Actually, that's beautiful scenery, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
With the music as well.
Oh.
Well, what one item led to the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster over Texas?
A new report says it was not anything on the spacecraft. We'll explain coming up.
2 government agencies get some blame for not stopping the 9/11 attacks. You'll hear from Congress also just ahead.
And I'm Erin Allen, live in Ellis County, where news of a proposed TXU rate hike has some customers hot under the collar. We'll talk about what they're talking about coming up on NBC5 First at 4.
You're watching NBC5 First at 4, your source for live, local, late-breaking news.